Hey, welcome back. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make a website from scratch. It's going to be very easy to do because we are going to have the help of some plugins that are going to guide us to make this website for us. Without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so the first thing you're going to have to look at is hosting. You're going to need good hosting. It's very tempting to go for the cheapest possible, but cheap really does hurt you in the long run. So with that in mind, there's 3 different website companies that I go recommend that you go look at for hosting your website. And those 3 are Hostinger, SiteGround, and Bluehost. Now, I'm not sponsored by any of these companies. It's just based off the experience of using their servers. Now, all of these hosting companies do cater for WordPress specifically. So they have servers that are built around the specific needs for WordPress, which is great. You don't need to have the biggest and best package. Generally, the basic package from one of these companies is good enough for most of your needs. And the great thing is, if you make such a hosting package, you can always upgrade it with them. And in the process of upgrading, nothing happens to your site at all. It's literally them doing some settings to expand your hosting capabilities. So here in Bluehost, you can see that the basic package is great. It's got 10 gigs of SSD storage, which is very, very important. You don't want those other types of hosting where they have old hard drives. I mean, SSDs are way, way faster. So now that you know what type of hosting you're going to have, the next step is to know what domain name you're going to be using. So obviously the domain names should be the same as the business that you're going to be representing with this website. Now, I'm not going to know your exact use case for having the website or wanting to build a website, but that is generally the rule that we go after. So let's just run through buying hosting quickly over here. Here you can see I'm going to select the basic package from Bluehost. I'm going to say select. It's going to take me to the next wizard screen. Here, let's create a new domain. Say Fab Bikes. Now you can see that the one that I chose isn't available, and it gives me a whole bunch of different other options that I can choose from. So .website, .site, .online. You should stick to more mainstream extensions like .com, .net, or your base country like say .co.uk or .co.za in the case of South Africa, for me. Certain things can be okay, so like a .store if you're going to be selling stuff should be okay, but otherwise do stick to the mainstream extensions. So for this example, I'm just going to choose the store one. Say continue, and on the next screen you fill out all your information. Here in the packet extras, you can actually take out everything else. You can take up backup, the lock site security essentials, you can take that all out. You can keep domain privacy protection. So what that is they protect you from more spam contact stuff or spam emails, but it's not really foolproof. There's different ways of spamming, and that sort of basic type of spamming you can filter out anyways. So you can select this one. This is a bit of a middle ground. Some people do want it, some people don't. I would just take it off and then just save myself the money, but you can filter it out yourself, but that's on you. So for me, I wouldn't, but like I said, a lot of people do want to have that in. And at the bottom, you put in your credit card information, and then you'd click submit. Obviously, I can't actually type all this stuff in over here. So once you've filled out all your information and you've paid with the credit card and that, your next screen is going to be the success, and let's go create your account. The only thing you have to do over here is click on create your password. Now the next screen after that, you're going to see your domain name, create password, and retype password. Here, you'd create the password for your website hosting. Now bear in mind, this has nothing to do with the actual website itself. This is just the server. Now once you've created your password, the next screen you're going to see is the beginning of your adventure, and you just click on create your website. Here it goes, how much help do you actually want to have with this website? There you can just go and click on skip step, and the type of website that we're going to be clicking on here is going to be a business type of website. The next type of screen there, don't have to worry about it either. We're just going to say skip this as well. So here you're going to put in your website name. For me, it's going to be the Fab Bikes, but for you, obviously, it's going to be whatever name that you have chosen as your domain name. Now, don't put it as a domain name itself. It's going to be the actual name of the business. It's not whatever URL that you just actually chose previously. It's the actual name of the business. Now you're going to see all the types of different themes that's going to be available to you. Now, you can choose that, but for us in this example, we're not going to choose any of these things because we're going to have something that's going to help us build the entire website for us. So we're just going to scroll down right down to the bottom, and we're just going to say skip this step. So now now we're in the back end of our server. Now if you look to the top right, it says login to WordPress, and this is where we're going to be carry on to build for our actual website. And in the future, you don't have to log into the server itself to go into the back end of your website, because this is too many steps. There is a URL for the admin login screen, and in the future you just have to use that URL to log into the website directly. You don't have to come into the server every time. So that the URL extension is /wp-admin, and that is the login screen to go into the back end of your website directly. Okay, so now here we are in the back end of our WordPress website. Now we're not going to go forward just yet, because the next thing we're going to need is the logo for our company. Now we're going to go quickly design one for our website, and we're going to be using something that I like to use quite a lot, and that is Adobe Express. Before you think, oh, Adobe, I have to pay. No, Express is actually the free version that they have that's online. So there are images on Adobe Express that are premium, but we're not going to be focusing on those. We're going to be using the free stuff that is available there. Now there's no restriction on Adobe Express on how you can use their images for your logos. So let's go head over there right now. So in Google, I'm just going to go Adobe Express. And here we just go onto the Adobe website. Near the top here, you can see Get Adobe Express Free. You will have to have an account with Adobe, but there's no credit card information, there's no paying, there's no nothing. It's literally just registering on their website. So here in Adobe Express, we are going to be creating a logo, and here you can see what we're looking for is a logo, and we're just going to click on that. Now for me, because the website is Fab Bikes, I'm going to be looking for a bike picture to represent the actual Fab Bikes itself. So all I do is I type in bicycle, I say search, and here's some templates for bicycles. And I do like this old school bicycle over here, so I'm going to click on that and use that template for my design. Now I don't want to have the background this color, so all I do is I click on the background, and you can see on the right hand side I can change the color. Here I want a more mustardy yellow, which is perfect for what I like. And obviously it's not called Bridge Bay Antiques, it's going to be called Fab Bikes. So I just double click on this Bridge Bay, and I'm going to say Fab, and then the Antiques one, also double click, and then say Bikes. Now you can see the stuff isn't aligned. So now I can actually click on these things and just move them around. So this is going to be center of the square, move it a bit up. Now I'm going to click on the bikes, make that a bit more center, and then the actual bicycle, I am going to make this a bit more center. And that looks a little bit better, but I think maybe Fab, I want it a little more down. Okay. But now I want this bigger in the whole picture, so I'm going to click on the actual logo. There's a square, and on the square I'm going to drag it out till it's the right size. Now obviously it's not in the center of the whole logo block, so then I can drag it until it's center, and you can see the guide showing me that that is centered. Then I can let that go, and that looks much better. So now I'm going to download different versions of this for different use cases. So this yellow and this bike and everything looks great, but there's going to be certain use cases that this is not going to be ideal. So the first thing we're going to do is going to save a version like this. So on the top right you can see here download. I'm going to say download, I'm going to say it's a JPEG, and then just download it. Okay. The next thing I'm going to do is I want this without the background, because there are going to be use cases that having the logo without the background is going to be ideal. So I'm going to say download, I'm going to say PNG transparent background. I'm going to click that download. And then the final download that I'm going to do is there are going to be use cases where the bike and the name being in black is not ideal, that white would be better. So in order to do that, I'm going to click on the bike, make sure it's highlighted, and here you can change the color. So now I'm going to change it to white. I'm going to click on the Fab. I'm going to see on the right hand side there's this option to change the color. Click it white, and the same thing for the bikes, white. Now I'm going to download PNG transparent background. Now I have a white variant as well that I can use in the website. It's nice to have these options, and it's great with Adobe Express. Now again, I'm not sponsored by Adobe, I just like using this to quickly make a logo for a website. So something you need to consider when making your website is the pictures you're going to be using for the website. You have to be very wary of where you get your pictures. You do need ones that are license free or the ones that you have licenses for. So a good place to go look for free images for your website is a place called Unsplash. I'm not sponsored by these guys either, I just like to use them. Now, they're not the be all and end all of every image that you could possibly want, but it's a great place to get really good images. So here you can see that we are on Unsplash and we can just type in whatever we want to look for. Now if I look for bicycles, you can see here's a whole bunch of pictures of bicycles that I can use for my website. So if I find something that I want to use, say this one, here's an example, I can just click on it, and on the top right I can just download. And it'll download to my PC, and it's free to use, and it's an extremely high res image. Something just to bear in mind about that is because it's such a good quality, you have to scale these things down, because big pictures inside a website is going to kill your website. So just bear that in mind. So like the image is very good quality, but you will have to scale it down just a little bit to maybe like an HD format, like a 1920 by 1080 sort of thing. That's a good place to be. So just bear that in mind, like these images are really good quality. But using a website like this, then you can rest assured that you're not going to be infringing on anyone's copyright and no one's going to sue you or anything like that. These images are free to use. They do have a slight paid tier, but most of the images you're going to find here are so good and they're mainly free. Something else that you should actually consider is like if you are struggling with the actual text content of your website, so you don't know how to actually explain something quite nicely, do consider using AI to help you with that. It's a tool, it's free, it will really help you to explain to your client exactly what you do. And it'll do it in a way that really is complementary to your website. So try out ChatGPT by OpenAI. Just Google ChatGPT, it'll take you to the website. If you don't have an account, you can quickly make one. They do have a free tier. They now have a paid one, which I don't use. The free one's good enough. Once you're registered and you go into ChatGPT, you'll be presented with this screen. Here you can use AI to help you fill out different things that you need. It's very useful for product descriptions or service descriptions, or even to fill out the content of a website for the About Us section. But do be very specific in your needs. Don't put generic inputs and expect that you're going to have Shakespeare write you the answer that you're looking for. So do help the AI along with as much input as possible. So let me give you an example quickly of an About Us section for fair bikes. Now obviously I'm not going to use this now because I already have my own. It'll just be a quick guide just to put you in the right direction. If you want to see more about this, then do have a look at one of my videos that I have made about ChatGPT before. So to give you an idea of how descriptive I'm talking about, I told ChatGPT is to give me the About Us section for a website. The company name is Fair Bikes, who service bicycles, bike fitting services, fork and shock services, and wheel building. You're giving as much input as you can to the AI. If you want to, you can actually put the area that you service and so forth, so it can really help you fill out the About Us section. If you feel that the output is too small and you want to add more, tell ChatGPT to rewrite it, but give you an output of maybe 2,000 words or something, just to give you an idea. And then you can use that and really structure out your About Us section. And the same applies for products or services that you can actually input, be as descriptive as possible, and ChatGPT or any other AI will give you a good output. Great, now you can see that the AI took all our input and made the perfect About Us section for the website. And I say perfect because it understood by the amount of quality input that it was given exactly what this company does. It knows that we do bike services and that sort of thing for bicycles, and we have nothing to do with motorbikes in any way, and it's really had to do with just with cycling in that whole world. So they understood that because of the quality input. I can't stress that enough. Like the more quality input that you give, the better the outcome is going to be, and it's structured in such a way that it's perfect for a website. So now that you can see that you can use ChatGPT or other AI to help you build out the text content for your website, so that your website isn't just with 1 or 2 pictures and 3 words per page, which is so bad when you're trying to attract customers. So don't be shy using something like an AI to help you get there. So this is the back end of a website. If we go look at the front, you're going to see it's going to be very plain and nothing's happening in it. As you can see, there's no theme, there's no pages, there's nothing. It's literally just the bare bones of WordPress, and that's perfect because that's exactly what we want. Now if we go have a quick look around over here in WordPress, we are now in the default dashboard of WordPress. And if you look on the left hand side, you're going to see that there's posts, the media, pages, comments, appearances, plugins, users, tools, settings. Now the post is any blog posts and that's going to be stored here. So if you click into it, you'll see that there's going to be a list of blog posts that you can oversee in this screen. Blogging is a great thing to do to add to the SEO and more likelihood that your pages will be ranked in Google searches. So do keep that in mind when making a website. But now for this example, we're not going to be going into that. Media, this is where all your pictures and videos are stored. And so here you can delete your images or videos, you can do slight editing, you can change their names and so forth. That you can do in this media screen. The pages are going to be for the pages of your website. Here's just the sample stuff already here, but this is we can delete later on. So here you can just quickly edit your pages, and this is where it's going to be found under pages. The comment section is not something that I use a lot. This is for comments from on the blogging. So generally I don't allow comments because it's a nice entryway for spam. But now if your website requires it, then you're just going to have to enable and just moderate your comments. Now the appearance is where you actually select a theme. Right now on the default it's on the 2023. There are these other ones, but we can just delete all these themes because we're not going to need any of these because we're going to be using our own. The plugins, this is where we store all the plugins for the website. So any enhancements that you want to make for your website, so contact forms, page builders, that sort of functionality enhancements, that can be found over here under plugins. The users are just the users of your website. So for me, it's going to be my user. And here you can add new users as administrators or customers or whatever cases that you're going to be needing to add users. The tools is different types of tools. It's not really generally needed. Here, these tools are just WordPress tools. You're not going to look into them too much. It is fine not to worry about this too much because you're not really going to be using this section. The next thing we're going to look at is settings here quickly. Here, the very first thing is we've got a tagline. Here we can add a tagline in the general settings. Here I was going to leave it blank for now. Where the URL is, anyone can subscribe. If anyone can register by default, they're not allowed to. But if you have like say an e-commerce website, you're going to have to allow registration, and that's going to be found here under the settings. Something that we do need to worry about over here while we're in settings is to go to permalinks. Now in permalinks, we want to have it as post name. We don't want to have weird structures in that because it's just not really SEO friendly. So we have it as post name and we're just going to say save changes. And that's pretty much the only thing that we're going to have to worry about over here. So now if we head back onto the dashboard, here's the beginning page that you'll always be greeted with every time you log into WordPress. Now the first thing we're going to do here to make our website is we're going to go to plugins and we're going to say add new. Now here on the top right, we are going to search for a plugin called Starter Templates. Now here's the search results for Starter Templates. Now the one that we are looking for is Starter Templates by Brainstorm Force. That's the one that we're going to be working with today. There are going to be others that are going to pop it in search results. Just bear in mind this is the company that made the ones that we're going to be using here. So now it's going to say install now. Once it's installed, then we're just going to activate it. Okay, so now that we activate the plugin, the next thing we're going to do is just remove quickly these other two plugins. I'm not going to use them, so why be on the website and take up space? So I'm going to select them. I'm going to say in bulk actions, I'm going to say delete. Now make sure it's just these two and not the one that we just downloaded as well. It's not the end of the world if you deleted the one we just downloaded. You're just going to have to download it again and activate it. Now that we've cleared that out, the next thing we're going to do is actually start building our website. We're going to select a template. And in order to do that, we're going to go into Appearance and we're going to say Starter Templates. So now it's going to have a wizard and it's going to guide us through building our website. There's going to be steps that we're just going to skip. So let's say build our website now. The page builder, we're going to be using Elementor in this example. You can use Beaver Builder or you can use a default Gutenberg. But in this example, I'm going to use Elementor, the free version, so you don't have to worry about the pro. It's very nice to use and it's very quick to get a website done. So we're going to click on Elementor and it's going to give us all the themes that we can use that are pre-designed to work with Elementor. Here you can select any style that you want. Bear in mind there are going to be some premium ones, there always is. But in this example, we're going to be using a free one. Now you can search for templates based on your type of niche. So like if it's going to be a coffee shop, you can do a coffee shop one and it'll show you the templates best suited for the coffee shop that they have already made for you. But here we're going to be using something completely different. Now I'm going to be using the Sierra template. Now the Sierra one is made for a natural park, but I'm going to use this one for the bike website that I want to build. If you want to see how these templates look like, you can just click on it and then it'll do a preview for you on the right hand side over here that you can see how the website will look. Now, I'm choosing this template not because it's related in any way, but I do like the structure of how everything was placed. And I do like how the shapes of the buttons are made and the font and so forth. So that's why I'm choosing this template. So now that I'm happy with the template that I want to use, now I can add logos on the left hand side, the ones that I've already made, and let's just do that now quickly. So if you click on it, you can see that there's nothing here. To here, we're going to drop those logos that we made, all of them, and I'm just going to put them all here. And then I can select the one that I want to use for this website. Now, because the background was actually dark, I am going to be using the white one for the website here initially. And what this is going to do is going to be putting this logo into the navigation bar of our website. Now you can see there it is. Now I don't like it being that big. I want it a little bit smaller because I don't want the navigation to take up the whole website. And that 80 is fine. Now I'm going to click continue. Now here you can do the default colors. Now because I like the mustard yellow as a background, I'm going to stick with that color scheme and I'm going to do that here. So here there's that yellow and I can select it and you can see the buttons change to the yellows. They perfectly complement my logo. The fonts, I'm going to be happy with the Montserrat and then I'm going to click continue. Now here's us asking a couple of details about me, so I'm just going to put that in. I'm not going to select the newsletter. I'm going to keep all these other options selected. What's going to happen now is once I click submit, it's going to download all the things that I need. So I don't have to worry about adding more plugins, choosing a theme and that. It will give everything for me already. And it's going to create a whole bunch of pages already as templates that we can easily design, and they're all made to complement that website template that we just saw before. So here I'm going to click submit and here we go. Now this is going to take a little bit of time, so just relax. And it's going to not only download everything it needs, it's going to install it and put it into place perfectly for you, so you don't have to worry about any of it. Okay, so now the setup wizard is completed. Everything's been downloaded and installed. So let's go have a look at our new website. Now as you can see, here's that exact template. Now you can also see in the navigation there's a whole bunch of other pages that have been set up here as well. So if I click on the about, it'll load up the about page. Obviously we're going to be changing this website to fit our needs better. Here's the services one. None of these pictures are good for me, but I'm going to be putting in my own anyways. So the projects page I am going to be removing because I don't need it for my website. I'm going to be concentrating on services more than actual projects. And then the contact page is actually quite important, and that's here. So now back on the home page, what we're going to do is we're going to go up into the top toolbar and we're going to say edit with Elementor. Now this is going to load up the Elementor page builder for us. It's very easy to use and really streamlines the process for us to design a website quickly. Now here we have it loaded up. Now as you can see on the left hand side, there's a whole bunch of these different widgets here. And we're not going to be using any of these pro ones because we don't have pro installed and we don't need them. If you need more advanced things, then you can start looking at pro, but for this website we're just going to keep it to the free stuff. So in order to use any of these, you just select whichever one you want, say this image, and you can drag it over onto your website and you can see that there will be a highlighted area of where you can put this. So when you're happy to where you want to put this exactly, you can just let go and it'll put that widget there into that place, and then you can edit all its options that are going to be here on the left hand side. So I won't be adding anything here right now, so I'm going to delete this. So in order to do that, I can see on this pencil icon, I can just right click on that, I can go down to delete. Now you don't need to do it on the pencil icon on that particular widget, but there are other widgets that you'll need to do it on that icon. So it is a good practice just to do it like that. So now let's start editing all these elements. They're already here on this page. So I'm going to leave the welcome to, but I am going to change the Sierra Natural Park because obviously I am doing Fab Bikes and not a natural park. But if I click on this title, you'll see on the left gives a whole bunch of different settings. And the first thing is, let's just change that to Fab Bike because that's the name of my company. Now here you do have the options to change it left justified, center, right justified. But for here, I'm just going to keep it everything centered. I can change the style, so if I click on style, I can change the text color, the typography, the size, everything. I can add a shadow. There is a lot more options that you can do over here. And in advanced, you can change out its padding. So this one has a little bit of padding at the bottom. You can change out its margins, there's motion effects, there's a whole bunch of different things you can do here. We're going to leave this as is just for now. The next thing I'm going to do is I want to change the background image. I don't need an elephant because elephant doesn't represent my Fab Bike company. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up into this 6 dot icon. I'm going to click on that. And this is going to give me the settings for the whole section. So what I want to do is I want to head over to style because that's where the picture is. And under the style, you can see this picture here. Now I can remove it completely or I can add my own. And in this case, I'm going to add my own. So I'm just going to click on choose image and the media library will open up. Now I want to upload my images that I want to use for this background. So I can select upload images and I'll open up the wizard to upload, or in the media library, I can actually drag it from a folder onto the library here and it'll import it automatically. So let me drag and drop in the picture I want to use for this header. There we go. say insert. Now you can see that's inserted into the place that I want it. Something I don't want here is this browned out effect here. I actually want this as a dark black. In order to do that, that's going to be a background overlay. So what's happening is they're putting a color on top of the image over there just to give that overlay effect. Now I don't want it as this brown, and you can see it as this brown. Now it's perfect for the style of the other image, but for me over here, I want to have it as black. So here now I select the black, and I can click out of it, and you can see there's the black. Now let's make it a little bit darker, brighter. You can see the opacity. I'm going to put it as a 0.6, and there we go. So this is my this is my section here. Now the last thing I want to do is this learn more. I want it to come down into the little about us section underneath here. So in order to do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click, this is my section here. Now the last thing I want to do is this learn more. I want it to come down into the little about us section underneath here. So in order to do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this section option. So it's going to be the 6 dot icon, and under advanced, I'm going to go to the CSS ID. I'm going to give this a name to the section. So that's what I'm doing here, is I'm giving a name to the section, and I'm going to reference this name in that button there. So when you click it, it just scrolls down automatically here. It's a nice little professional touch. So I'm just going to call this about section. I'm going to keep it as one word. I'm going to take that. I'm going to click on this button, and where it says link, I'm just going to put in that about section, and I'm going to keep in the hash. But I don't have to put in the URL or anything else. It's just about section there with the hash. So it tells the browser, so when I click there, I want to go down into the section here. So now that I'm happy with that, I'm going to go back into this section settings again, and I'm going to go into advanced. Now I'm going to add a bit of motion effects here just to give that extra pop for my clients when they come and visit this website. So I'm going to click on motion effects, and I'm going to say to fade in. And this gives that nice little effect for this section. So now that we're happy with that, let's move into the about section. Now here it gives the standard text as placeholders for you to see where you'd like to put your own content and how to stylize it and separate it. Now I'm just going to take out this second text widget here because I don't need it. I'm going to go into the pencil icon, right click and delete. I also don't want to have this one liner over here. I'm happy just to take it out as well. So I'm going to go to the pencil and delete. So now here, this text widget, I'm going to put in my own about us content here. Okay, and there we go. Now this learn more button over here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to link this to the about us page. So if the client is interested in knowing everything about us, then they can just click on that, and it's going to take us to the page that's dedicated to the about us of our company. So now I'm going to click onto this button. You can see the button settings here. Now this link piece, I'm going to take out the hash, and I'm going to start typing out about. And it's going to go look for pages that have that word in it. Now there is the about us page. I'll just click on that, and it'll automatically put in the URL for that page. Now here obviously we have more space options that we can change this button. We can change the styling as well, but I'm happy with the template and how it gave us this design. So the last thing I'm going to do for this section is, again, I'm going to add some motion effects. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to click on the section settings. I want this column. So as I'm hovering, you can see that a whole bunch of different things starting appearing. And what I want to do is to have the column settings. In order to do that, you can see where my mouse is now. It's got that gray icon. I'm going to click on that, and here is the column settings that we can play with. Now I'm going to go into advanced. I'm going to go into motion effects. I'm going to say fade in left. And it moves that entire section into view there. Now you can do motion effects for every widget as well. That's up to you if you want to do that. I like to do that, but there's a lot of people that don't. They want to keep everything not too over the top. But I think editing this column just like that with this motion effects is okay. So now that I'm happy with this whole section, I'm going to move on. This next section is the services. I like this section. I'm going to keep this section. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go and I'm going to click on the 6 dot icon, and I'm going to change the background picture because the beach doesn't really represent my company in this website. So I'm going to head over to style, and I'm going to change this image. And now the media library pops up, and here I can select an image, or I can just use one of my own. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my own picture for this section. So I just drag and drop it onto the media library and auto imports it. Select and say insert media, and there's my image. Now again, it's got that brown overlay. It's from the theme. So let's just quickly change that brown overlay. So I'm going to go into background overlay. I'm going to click on the color, and I'm going to say black as well. Now I'm not really happy with the 0.8 only because the background image I selected is actually pretty dark. So I'm going to put it as a 0.7 maybe, just to lighten it up a little bit. So now let's actually start adding our services to this website. So for me personally, I don't want this heading over here, so I'm going to go into the pencil and delete. I want to keep these three over here for my three services that I'm going to showcase for this website. Now the first one here, I'm just going to click on this widget. Now you can see there's a title and then there's a little description there. So let's add the title to our first section here. So I'm going to select it, I'm going to delete it, I'm going to add my title. And my first title is going to be the bike fitting service. And then underneath, I'm just going to add a quick little blurb just to say what this is. If a client is interested, then they can have a look at our services page where they can read more about this particular service. But for now, I'm just going to add a quick blurb here. Now I'm going to go down to the next widget and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to add my service heading and a quick blurb. There we go. And then for me, I'm just going to add my last third service. And there's my three services. So now on the right hand side, there's this one liner for this section. I'm going to keep this here. I'm going to add my own one liner here as well. You don't need to, but what you can do is actually just drag more services onto this side. How you do that is you could just right click on this pencil icon on this little widget and then say duplicate. And that you can just drag onto the other side and let go, and then you can see you can fill out this whole section as well if you need to. But for me on this example, I'm just going to keep it to these three services that I'm offering. So now that I'm happy with that, let's add more motion effects to this section as well. So what I'm going to do is hover over the column that I want to effect with the one particular motion effect. I'm going to click on that, go to advanced, motion effects, and here I can click on fade to left. Now there is a whole bunch of other options, but I'm going to stick with fade to left on this one. This right hand one, I'm going to click on the column, head to settings, motion effects, and this one I'm going to say zoom in. Now that I'm happy with the section, I can scroll down. For this project section, I don't have any projects, so I don't want any. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take it out completely. So in order to do that, I'm going to hover over this section. I'm just going to press an X and I'm going to delete it. Now it has this section as well, the same thing. I'm just going to hover over and delete. And that's going to be the end of my website. So it's going to be the hero, it's going to be the about us, and it's going to have the services, and then that's it. Something that I think I should have over here is actually have a button that links to the services page as well. I think I'm going to put it underneath the tagline over here. So in order to do that, let's just go to the About Us Learn More button. I'm going to right click on the pencil icon. I'm going to say duplicate. I'm going to drag this into this section. I'm going to let go. And now here I can actually set it where I'd like to have it. I'm going to keep the alignment to the left, and I think I want a little bit more space. Now to give us space, I'm going to click on this 9-dot icon on the top left in the settings window panel. It's going to take us back into the widgets panel. Here I'm going to look for space. I'm going to click and drag that in between the tagline and the button just to add space. And here you can see the settings that I can adjust. I think 25 will be good. And that's perfect for them. So now I'm going to click on the button. I'm going to take out the link from the About Us, and I'm going to say services. And now it found the services page, and now it'll link to the services page like that. So that's my home page, and I'm pretty happy with that. And then once I'm happy, all I have to do is click update. And there we go. So now if we preview it, you can see all the motion effects and everything happen for this web page. Now you can see it faded in, and as we scroll, there's the About Us, and there's that section there. That's great. So now in this Elementor backend, what we can do is we can go to the hamburger icon and we can just say exit. Now it's going to ask us where do we want to exit to. For me personally, I like to have it just exit into the dashboard. You can have it to the post, or you can have it to all posts. Now this isn't actually a post, it's a page. So what will happen in this case, instead of going to the post section, it's going to go into the pages section. So it'll exit this page, or go to the all pages section of our website. The reason why it says post is because technically a page is a post to a CMS. So they're just keeping it to the more technical names. But for me here, I'm just going to keep it to the dashboard, say apply, and then it'll exit. So now let's go have a look at the front end of our website, and then we can see which page we're going to tackle next in customizing our website for our business. So here again, you can see here's the front end looking very, very pro. I think the next one that we're going to do is the About Us page. So let's click on About, and here you can see the About Us template, which we're going to customize to make it our own. Now you don't have to go through the front end of a website always to go to a page that you want to edit. In the back end, if you go to pages, and you can click on all pages, or you just click on the pages there in the menu. You can see here all the pages that we're working with anyways. These are all the pages of our website. So I can just click edit with Elementor and it'll load up. Or on the front end, we can click on the top of the page and it'll take us to the same place that we need to be. So here is the About Us page loaded up in the Elementor page builder. And let us customize this page to fit our business. So the first thing I'm going to do is edit nature lovers. I click on that widget and I'm going to change from nature to bike. That's what I'm going to put over here for this widget. I'm just going to keep it with bike lovers from that nature lovers that was there, because my website is catered for people who have more higher end bicycles. This one liner, I'm going to change it to the same one that I had in the front page, and then here I can fill out the About Us section. Now if you don't want to use all these widgets, what I'm going to do as an example here is just right click and delete this widget here. I don't need it. I only need one text widget. So in the text widget, I'm going to paste my content that I have for my About Us section. I'm also going to edit this header over here as well as a little welcome sentence. Now here in this section with the numbers of clients and years and projects completed, do make use of something like this. It's nice to show customers how many people are satisfied with your products or services. I don't like using testimonials too much. It shouldn't be an overbearing thing in your website. It kind of makes it look cheap. It's great to have on the side as a reference, maybe a page dedicated to that if you want to have actual testimonials in that, but try keep your website as professional looking as possible. So something with numbers like this is a good place to look. Okay, so let's fill out these numbers now for this website. I like what they say here about some cool facts. Numbers speak for themselves. So I'm not going to change these text widgets. If I wanted to, I can just click on them and I can change them. But for this section, I'm very happy to keep those words there. So let's fill out these satisfied customers, years of experience and completed projects. Now we can change the wording here. We're not limited here at all. So if you click on this widget, you'll see this is an actual counter widget, and we can modify all the settings here on the left hand side, including the animations, the starting number, the ending number, that sort of thing. And it's a great little widget just to add a little bit more animation and effects to your website. I can change the starting number, which I'm not. I'm going to keep it at 0. So when a person scrolls to this section of the page, it starts at 0 and counts to 150. The ending number I'll just change as an example here, because obviously this business doesn't really exist. So I was going to put maybe, so I'm going to put 167 as satisfied clients. And then I'm going to move on to the next widget. So here in the second widget, the 15 years experience looks fine for me in this example website, but do change yours to reflect your business. And then this 250 completed projects. Again, like I said, that this website doesn't have really projects, it's more bikes. Although you can consider working on a bike a project, but for me, I don't like having projects mixed with services. It's just a personal thing. Please don't copy me if you don't want to. So here with 250, I'm going to say 400 bike services. Now for this next section here, I don't really have anything else that I want to put. So what I'm going to do here is just get rid of it. Now if you have more to put in your About Us section, then you can click on these widgets and add whatever you need to. But for me over here, I don't need anything more for this section. So I'm just going to delete this section and this one as well, don't need it. This divider and space, I'm going to leave it there. I actually want that. And this section here, I'm also going to take out. So this is the end of my page for my website. Here on the top section, I'm not happy that there's so much of this empty space here. I think an image will fit here quite nicely. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this 9-dot icon on the top left in the control panel, and I'm going to look for an image, and I'm going to take this widget and I'm going to drag it till it slides underneath that heading. So let me get a nice long image to fit here. In this case, I think a portrait image will fit this space quite nicely. So I'm going to click on this to change. And I'm going to drag over an image I want to use that's a portrait image that'll suit this website. So now my image is loaded, I'm going to select it and it's going to go into place here. I'm going to make sure that's in the middle. And as you can see, this image really does fill out this negative space, and it's a nice complement to this website. So the final thing I want to change is this very top image. So I'm going to click on the 6-dot icon that's for the section. I'm going to go into style and I'm going to change this image. So let me just put in import an image quickly. Once the image is imported, I'm going to select it and say insert the image. So now that the image is inserted, I can see that the overlay is the right type of black for me, and it just works with this image. So I'm going to leave that as is. So now that we have all the elements that we want for this page, let's just make this slightly more professional looking with a bit of entrance animations as the person scrolls through the page. I'm going to keep them quite simple again. I'm going to hover over the whole column instead of actually changing the elements themselves. Because if you change too many elements, then it becomes too busy and people get distracted with too many animations instead of just doing a nice effect. So I'm going to click on this column, I'm going to go into advanced, And on this one, I want to do a fade left again to be more in line with everything else that's been going on the website. And then on this column, I'm going to go to advanced, motion effects. I'm going to say this one does a zoom. So now we have the entrance animations for these two columns. Let's go down to this bottom piece. Now this already has animations here with the counters. So I don't think we need to add any more here. So I'm actually pretty happy with how this page is looking. I think with that, we just say update and we can say that we are done with this page. The next page we're going to tackle is the services page, and this is where we're going to show all the services that we obviously provide for our company. So let's go click on the services and we can see this template that it's already here for us. It's quite a nice template, and we don't have to change anything in the design because it's actually quite fitting. It's not over the top and it's not leaving the person wanting more either. It's just the right balance. So let's go ahead and edit the services page with Elementor. So we go up to the top and we click on edit with Elementor. So now that the Elementor page builder is loaded, so let's go ahead and change everything in this template to suit our business. So the first thing I'm going to do here is hover over this section at the top here of the services. I'm going to click on the 6 dot icon and I'm going to change the background image. To do that, we click on style, we click on this image, and here's the media library. So now we can either select something from here or we can just upload or just drag an image onto here. So now that I've selected my image, I'm going to say insert image, and there's my image in the background. I'm just going to go into the overlay and make sure that it's on black. If it's not on black, I'm going to make it the black, and I'm going to make sure that the opacity is the right amount for this particular image to make sure that the services text stands out the best. Now that I'm happy with that, let's go down to the next section. Here with the widget that says what we do, I'm going to keep this one because I like that in the services. But the following one, I'm going to change the heading here and the text. So the head I'm going for is cool bikes for cool people. And the text, I'm happy with that text that I put in there for my Fab Bikes website. The second widget here of the text, I don't need it for myself, but if you need it, do feel free to fill it out. I'm going to delete this. There we go. And let's change these images. Now these images were achieved in this design using the background of the column. And they're not actually a widget. So if I click on them, you can see there's just a space and the other one is just a space to make that sort of design. To change these pictures, you have to click on the column itself and then go into style. Almost like the section where we go into the style and we change the image. That's the same thing that's happening here, but it's only for a column. So I'm going to click on this image and I'm going to change it to something that better suits for me. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drag one in from my folder that I have for my images. Once it's in, I'm going to say insert. I'm going to do the same thing for the second one. I'm going to click on the column. I'm going to go into style and I'm going to change this image. Now that I have my image, say insert. And as you can see that these reflect my business far better. Now we move along to the next section because we're happy with the content here. So just bear in mind that I am going to come back to doing all the animations after. Here in this next section, you can see it has these 4 different areas where we can put in each of our services or products. Here, I'm just going to use 3, which is going to be the same 3 that I mentioned in the home page. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change just go along with nature. I'm going to use that same tagline that I had used in the home page. I'm going to put it over here. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this last widget over here. I don't need it because I'm only using 3 different services for this website. So let's begin with the first one. So here on this first widget, I'm going to change the title to my first service, which is the bike fitting service. And then I'm going to do the description of that service. There we go. Let's go into the second widget. Here I'm going to put in my second title, like so. And then I'm going to put in my second description, like that, and that's good enough. Now I'm going to go into the third one and I'm going to do the same thing like I did for the first 2. So I'm going to click on it and then go change the title, and then I'm going to change the text that's here as well. If you need to add more services or products here in this list and you want to add it right underneath each other, a quick way to do that to keep in line with the design is to hover over this divider, right click and say duplicate. Now that there's 2, you can click and hold on the pencil icon and just drag it underneath the previous service. And the same thing can be done here with this previous service. This widget, you right click on it, say duplicate, and then you can drag it underneath that divider that you just duplicated before. And like that, you can see that you're keeping with the design. And the same thing can happen on that side. So if you had deleted this by mistake and you duplicate it on this side, you can just take this and drag it to the second column. So we have these options. Just don't forget to actually change the content inside the widget. But in my case over here, I'm just going to keep it with the 3. So I'm going to right click and say delete. And then obviously I must remember to delete this divider as well. And there we go. There's my section there. So here in this last section here, what I'm actually going to do here on the services page is I'm going to redirect the customers to our contact page here. Now don't do it in the About Us because people are generally just wanting to know more about the company on the About Us section. So I don't really do that in the About Us page. But here in the services, let's redirect the customer to the contact page. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually start with the button. I'm going to click on the button, and in the left here in the settings, I'm going to change the text to say contact us. And then the link, I'm going to take away the hash and I'm going to say contact, and it's going to search for the contact page. I'm going to click that, and then it automatically puts the URL there. So now that button will redirect to the contact page. So now I have to say something here in the title widget so it can grab the customer's attention to click on the button to contact us. So as I said, get in touch with us today, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to right justify it so that it's closer to the button there. Now I can click update, and there we go. All the content has been placed on this page. So now I'm just going to finalize it and put in the motion effects. So now I'm going to come into this first section. I'm going to click on this column. I'm going to say again, fade in left. On the second column, I'm going to go to advanced, motion effects, and then I'm going to say fade in up. And then on the third one, I'm going to click on that one, settings, go into advanced, motion effects, and this one I'll say zoom in. So now all these different columns have their own animations. And then here, this whole services thing, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to keep it simple. I'm going to go into motion effects and just say fade in normally. Now that I'm happy with that, I just click update, and this page is complete. So here in the front end, if we click on the services, you will see all our animations kick in and all our content being placed. And there we go, we're pretty happy with that. Now for this example, I am not going to do the projects page. I don't need it, so I'm going to delete it. And let me show you how to do that. You have to do it in two different places. You have to delete the page and the menu item. So we head over to the dashboard. We're going to click on pages and say all pages. Here we're going to look for the projects page, and I'm just going to click trash. Now that deletes the page, but doesn't delete it completely. It puts it in a recycle bin as such, like on a desktop. So if you see here where I'm hovering over trash, if I click on that, you'll see that the page is actually there. So in case you delete something by accident, you can just restore it from here. You can put in the check mark, you go into bulk actions, you click restore, and then you say apply, and it'll put the page back into your pages. But for us now, I don't want this, and I want it out the system. So I'm just going to say empty trash. And there we go. So now that the page is gone, we have to go and remove it from the menu. Now in order to do that, we have to hover over appearance, and then we click on menus. And this is going to take us to the menu section. The first thing we have to do in the menu section is we have to make sure that we're in the right menu. So what we want is the primary menu. We're going to select that and then click select. Here you can see the project page was removed from there, but it's nice to double check because sometimes it isn't removed. So now that we can see it's not there anymore, we just say save menu just to make sure. And when we look back in the front end, you'll see that now it just says home, about, services, and contact. So now we don't need to worry about that projects page anymore because it's out the system. Now the final page that we have to do is the contact page. So now we head over to contact, and here we can say edit with Elementor. Okay, so now same thing as like all the other pages. We're going to start off with the top section, and we're going to change the background image to suit our company and our website. So we're going to hover over the section, click on the 6 dot icon, go to style, change the image. Okay, so now that I've selected the image, I'm going to say insert media, and then you can see there's the image for my contact. I'm going to go to background overlay again, make sure it's black. For my design, obviously yours, you change how you like, and your opacity to suit how you want it to look like. So let's customize this to give it our credentials. In the contact us, this description, I'm going to say get in touch instead. And I'm going to remove the text underneath. I'm just going to keep the details of the business. So now you click on this widget, and then you can see the first one is the address. You can add the address. I'm going to keep this as is because obviously this business doesn't really exist. So any information I put in here in this example won't be accurate. But for you, obviously put in your real contact information. Here I'm going to put in Fair Bikes as the contact at Fair Bikes, and then I'm going to put in the number. You click on this number, you can change the number to suit you. Here's the icon that you can change as well. Once you're happy with that, then you can click on the follow us. Now you can have your social icons to link to your social pages. So the same thing applies. So you would click on Facebook. Here's the link input, and here you'd put the link to your Facebook page. Same goes for Twitter, YouTube, Telegram, that sort of thing. If you need to add others, say like YouTube, you can say add item. The icon, you'd click on it, then you'd say YouTube. There it is, YouTube, insert, and here you can put your YouTube link as well. Now say if you don't have Twitter but you have the others, right? So you can just hover over Twitter and you can just say delete. And there you go. So then that would be your social icons for your company. Now that you're happy with these, then we can come down to the map and click on this pencil icon. Now remember when I said some widgets you can click anywhere and most of them you have to click on the pencil? The map would be one of those that you click on the pencil because there's functionality designed for when you click on the actual map. So here you'd click on the pencil and that will bring up all the settings on the left hand side. Here you'd add in your location for where your business is. So here's this example one here. Obviously you just input it into that location field. And then I like to have the zoom set at about a 16 to get it a little bit closer. Some people don't like that, they like it a little bit zoomed out. But generally speaking, for me as a personal preference, I like a 16 zoom. And then the height can stay the same, 400 pixels is more than enough. Now that we're happy with these things, we are going to change the settings for the contact form to actually send it to our email address. But we're not going to do it here because we won't be able to edit the settings here for that. So now that we're happy with all the content on this page, let's just do the final thing, and that is to add the animation. So in this column, I'm going to say fade in left again. I'm going to keep it like the other web pages. I'm going to say fade in left, and then the contact form, I'm just going to say zoom in, and I'm going to leave the map as is. Then I click update, and that page is done. Now we don't have to do anything more on the pages. Now we're going to add our email address to the contact form, so all the entries of the contact form come to us. So in order to do that, we go to the WP forms and we can just click on that, or you can say all forms. Now this is a plugin that was installed automatically for us for that contact form that you saw in the contact page. Now we hover over contact form 1, click edit, and it's going to give us the edit screen for the contact form. Now here, the only thing we have to worry about is the settings field. Now if we click on that, it's going to show us all these different options. What we are looking for is the notifications. So the notifications is when a client sends us a contact form request. So here are the notifications. What we are looking for is the send to email address. This is going to send all the contact form queries to us. And here we're going to put in our email address for the contact form. All the other settings here we can leave the same because it's all been set up already for us. Once we're happy with that and we've added our email address, then we just say save on the top right. Now that this contact form is saved, now we don't have to worry about it anymore. Now we can just click on the big X and it'll take us back into the dashboard. Now we are almost done with this website. The only things we have to worry about now is the navigation header and the footer, and those are pretty quick to do. In order to finish that, we go to Appearance and then we say Customize. Here we're going to head over to the header builder, and what we are looking for is the button. What I want this button to do is to link into the contact page. In order to do that, I must just have the URL link to the contact page, and then I must just paste it here. So now that button will take the clients to our contact page so they can contact us. You can, if you want, add other sections to this to really stylize out this header, but we're not going to do that now. We're just going to keep it as is because it's a nice header anyways. So now we're happy with this, we can go back out of the header builder, and now we can look for the footer. Here you can see the footer builder. Now what we want to change is all these text and that of the footer. So what we're going to do is we're going to change the text of this about section. We're going to click on this widget 1 because that's where the about us is, and we click on it, and you can see it says about and all the text there. So I'm going to change the text to this about section here. I'm going to copy and paste what I had, and I'm just going to make sure that it's just one paragraph so it doesn't fill up the entire section of the footer. So here if we click on the second widget, it's got all these different services there. Now I don't want to have it as a services menu because I only have one services page and I don't want to go and list them all out over here. So what we can do is we just go to this widget and we can say delete. So here in widget 3, I'm going to click on this contact. I'm going to change contact to get in touch, and I'm going to take out this text here. I don't want it. Once I've done with that, now next we're going to click on the copyright. Now if you want to have the copyright here, then you can just leave it. It's already got the current year and the site title, so it'll always be accurate. If you don't want it, you can just delete this completely. Then the next thing I'm going to do is I am going to delete this powered by Fab Bikes. I don't like that. So I'm going to do is I'm going to hover over the X, this widget over here. I'm going to delete it. So now that that's deleted, I don't want to have the copyright on the left hand side. I want it more in the middle. So in order to do that, I'm going to hover over this whole section here, and on the cog I'm going to click that, and that's going to bring us all the different settings in the left hand side for this block that we are editing. Here it's got 2 columns, but I don't want them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on one column, and you'll see that the copyright comes into the middle here. So now that you can see that the copyright widget is in the middle, let's go back into the copyright. In the alignment settings of this, I'm going to click on the middle, and now you can see that the copyright is in the middle of our footer. Now that our footer is complete, we can click publish. With this footer being saved and published, let's go and fix these menus quickly here just to finalize our footer. So in order to do that, we can press X and we can get out of this customizer and we can go into the menu section. So now we go into appearance and we click menus. So here in the menus, we're going to make sure that we are on the contact, so we can edit the contact piece of the footer. We make sure it's selected, so we make sure the menu is the contact and we say select, and here you can see the custom links that they had in the design that we can change all the information. So if we click on this 12th Avenue and we bring it on the down arrow, you can add your address there. You click on this down arrow, you can add your number, and then the contact email address is you can put in your own email address. Once you're happy with the information, just click save, and that is our design of our website done. So let's have a look at the front end. There's our menu, our take action will go into the contact page. Our learn more scrolls down to the section of about us. Here's all our services, and here's our contact information. And there we go, we have made our own website. Wasn't so bad, was it? If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below and I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. That was a long tutorial, but I'm glad I did it, and it was actually quite fun to show you guys how to do it as well. What I'm really happy about this website is we didn't use any paid plugins. Everything that we used was free. Even the images that we use were sourced from a website that gives away royalty-free images. Got our logo design for free, a very nice looking one. And the only thing that really cost us was actually the hosting. There was no way to get around that without sacrificing a lot of performance. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.